Yes, time for a transfer update now, thanks to Intuit QuickBooks. And we're going to kick off with Ben Jacobs now, picking up what Terry Gibson's just been discussing. Good afternoon, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Terry's just hit us with this story about Dani Ceballos. He was on the bench last night in that defeat to Albacete for Real Madrid. And there's a strong word over in Spain that he could be off to Villa. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, I think Aston Villa are definitely in the market for that kind of profile. And there was actually an initial inquiry for the player that took place last year. The challenge is getting a club-to-club agreement, and it remains to be seen, therefore, whether anything is possible in the coming days or weeks. But Villa are definitely one of the clubs that are interested. And of course, from Villa's perspective, Daniel Mallion going off to Roma, 2 million plus 25 million obligation to buy, technically conditional obligation, but the terms are relatively easily achieved. So Villa can budget to spend that money. And remember, the only backhanded positive of the Harvey Elliott being frozen out at Villa Park is the obligation to buy just 10 appearances was seen at the time as so easy to trigger that Villa on their books have also set aside that money. So they're not going to sign Harvey Elliott, so they can add that to their January kitty as well. Tammy Abraham is the other name we need to keep a really close eye on in all of this. Villa, naturally, in doing the Malin deal, had spoken to Roma, but because he's on loan at Besiktas and they've got an option to buy for about £11 million, Villa actually have to negotiate with Besiktas first. And if they can agree a wage and a package with Abraham and he's open to returning to the Premier League, it's then all about first Villa and Besiktas, followed by Villa and Roma. But the Villa-Roma part is easy enough because Roma are ballpark-wise prepared to honour the same option to buy that Besiktas have. But first, they've got to find a way to get Abraham out of the club mid-season. So keep an eye on Villa. They are going to be busy, and it might well be that a couple of players, an attacking midfielder and a number 9, both arrive between now and the end of the winter market.
Interesting. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Facundo Buonanotte, his loan deal at Chelsea from Brighton has not really worked out. He's barely had a look in. And he seems he's off to Leeds, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. This is a done deal. Buonanotte already travelling to undergo his Leeds medical today. At the moment, I'm led to believe there's no option or obligation to buy. It's a straight loan until the end of the season. And it just suited the player and Chelsea. Now, interestingly, he played in the victory in the FA Cup over Charlton in Liam Rosenior's first game. And Rosenior spoke quite glowingly about his role and his talents. But I think in the bigger picture, when everybody's fit, both Chelsea and the player realise that he's not going to get enough game time in the second half of the season. And this Leeds approach is not new. It's kind of undoing a Chelsea hijack. So if we go back to the summer, Leeds United had transportation ready and their medical staff on standby and thought that Buonanotte was about to board a plane to actually fly in the short journey from the south coast and do his medical. And as he was about to board the plane, Chelsea came calling, and basically Leeds got a phone call saying he's off to Chelsea instead, and all the medical staff had to stand down. So it's no real surprise now it's not worked at Stamford Bridge that this deal has been easy to facilitate because Leeds had everything in place over the summer, and now finally they get the loan over the line.
Yeah, very good. That's really good, isn't it?
Callum Wilson, Ben. And what's the latest there? It looks like he's, it's apparently Celtic seem right, and that feels like quite a good fit,
nice fit
for him and them.
Yeah, I think Celtic have made an initial inquiry to the player side only, and they're trying to establish first and foremost, is Wilson's contract going to be terminated? Because Wilson as a free agent, still with a relatively high wage expectation is one thing, but nobody wants to actually do a deal with West Ham unless he heads into free agency. And like Mikel Antonio, if that proves to be the case, then this isn't something that has to be done imminently. Player and clubs can take their time. So West Ham and Wilson are still in talks to finalise an expected termination, but it's not 100% done yet. And then Celtic could be interested. Leicester City have also made an inquiry as well. And there remain 2 Saudi clubs, Al Ittifaq, who used to be managed by Steven Gerrard, but they would need Wilson's wage to come down slightly because they don't have big budgets. They've only got, believe it or not, about 10 million total to spend on wages and on transfer fees and on agent fees across an entire season. So it'd be a big outlay for them to get Callum Wilson. And Al Shabab, who are based in Riyadh, who have got a slightly bigger budget, they're another Saudi club to watch as well, because they made an inquiry for Callum Wilson just before he decided to go to West Ham.
Talking of Saudi, N'Golo Kante looks like he's going to be off. Fenerbahce I've seen linked. Is there any...
It's signing for someone,
any chance of him maybe coming back to the UK, you think?
Yeah, well, I can tell you West Ham made another inquiry over the summer. They actually made a formal approach to Al Ittihad, but there was no chance of getting Kante out of Saudi Arabia, and there was too little time left in the summer window for West Ham to make any serious progress. But at that point, they were prepared to pay between 15 and 20 million, which is a pretty healthy fee when you consider that Kante then had only 1 year left on his deal. Now he's got 6 months remaining and is open, to my knowledge, after meetings that actually took place in Dubai with the player camp, to leaving mid-season with a view to being back in Europe and playing regularly at the level of the Turkish Super League ahead of the World Cup. But his inclusion in the French national team is not in doubt. So if he ends up staying in Saudi Arabia, it won't really impact his World Cup chances. But I think Kante's ready to leave Saudi Arabia. Player knows he's going anywhere in the summer on a free transfer. And now it's whether Al Ittihad are going to change their position and agree something with Fenerbahce now, or insist that Kante stays between now and the end of the season. And I think at this stage, it's fair to say players open, player side's no problem. He'll even take a wage cut to join Fenerbahce. Nobody from the Premier League has countered the Fenerbahce offer to any serious degree yet, but West Ham made a call. But it's all whether Al Ittihad are prepared to sanction an exit. And as you may well know, when a big star name leaves Saudi, particularly mid-season, it's not just about what the player wants and the manager, Sergio Conceição, and even the club. There's wider PIF and league politics and approvals that are necessary. So we're going to have to wait and see a little bit as to how this one plays out. But it wouldn't at all surprise me if Kante does end up leaving this winter.
How old is he, Ben? How old's Kante now?
Well, he's what, in his 30s, I think?
He's still got his legs, still playing, you know.
I think so. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think he's probably 33 or 34.
Yeah.
34, yeah.
It's always been.
But he's Kante, so he's always had four legs.
Get him at Spurs. Get him at Spurs next to Connor. That'd be great. Get everyone at Spurs.
He's like two players in one.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
And the good thing is, Ittihad wear virtually the same kit as Fenerbahce, so it'd be a very easy transition. That's why I joined him. The kits were very similar.
Yeah. He is little, so, you know, they might need a little kit.
They might need a little kit for him, yeah. Thank you, Ben. We'll catch up with you
Ben.
soon. All the best.
Cheers, guys.